Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Live Team Alliance training session for Monday, November 12th. Time right now is approximately 9:01 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Before we get started, as usual, I would like to welcome our new students. Those of you joining us on live training for the first time, you have definitively made a wise decision by being here. The fact that you're here on live with us is very powerful for you because the live experience is just a very powerful learning experience to be part of. If you're not able to attend live training, watching the replay is just as powerful. So, you don't have to feel any kind of way if you cannot catch the trainings live, because the replays are the live trainings. It's all the same. Same energy that we're going to feel when we're live, we feel the same energy when we play it back. So it's all good. You definitely have all made a wise decision by training with Team Alliance. You're going to learn a lot of information about the market. You're going to learn even more information about yourself. The reason that that's so important is because your response and reaction to the market has a lot to do with the same human behavior that creates the market that we deal with every day. The market is built on what people are doing. So understanding yourself helps you to interpret the market with more precision, because you're actually learning how not to demonstrate the same elements that the market is kind of built around. The way that you actually see the market or what it's doing has a lot to do with impatience. The lack of patience that people have will cause the market to move certain ways, because they're moving their money as a result of the lack of patience that they have. And it's all built into the price. So everything that we're doing has to do with interpretation of the market itself. We're going to interpret the market's price along the levels of behavior, along the levels of the environment, and along the levels of the way that we actually validate or disqualify an actual trade. In other words, how do we get into the market? That question is going to be answered as well as you train. In fact, if you're new, videos number 92 and number 55 are the two videos that I want you to start off with inside of the playlist that I shared with you when you signed up. If you have not received the playlist for whatever reason, just remind me and I'll be sure to get it to you. I believe that you all have it though. And inside that playlist, videos number 92 and number 55 are the two that you want to begin with ASAP. Thank you, Jay Carley. So what we're going to get into as far as detail tonight on live training is Mark's rule, what it means, and also how long it will be applicable for once you see it on the chart. And just to give a synopsis of what Mark's rule is, Mark's rule is the thing that we're waiting for. We're waiting to see that is the proof that the market is ready to present the trades to us that we're looking for in the right environment with the right behavior. And because we're waiting for so much to take place on the chart, by the time we get Mark's rule, we will often experience additional trades that set up after Mark's rule along the same line. In other words, a trade that is built into a cluster of trades that will manifest on the chart after the first one that we see. Now, that's not always the case, of course. There will be times when you'll have Mark's rule on the chart, meaning that we have the behavior. Well, let me start with everything from the proper way that we look at the protocol. We have the environment. The environment that we're looking for is a slow market, slow condition. Then we have the behavior. The behavior is the way that the price is moving. The way that price moves is the way that the market is actually conducting itself as far as the way that it's moving relative to what we want it to do. In other words, relative to what would represent profitable behavior. There's certain movement in the market that represents a profit when it comes to binaries, because the binaries are an option that is a simple decision that you're making. Either the price is going to remain below or to remain above the option strike price, or the line that you see on the chart. These black horizontal lines that you see represent these strike prices for these options. So each one of the line in the sands relative to the actual price of the market is going to determine who wins the trade ultimately when the market expires, when the option expires rather. So the option is 5 minutes. The ones that we deal with, these are 5-minute binaries. The most important part of the 5-minute binary is the last minute. And the reason being is because that is when the actual decision is made by the market, meaning the price. Wherever the price ends up is going to determine who wins or who loses the trade, who wins or who loses the option that we're trading on. Every time that you take a trade, someone else is taking the opposite side of your trade. So you are anticipating the market to remain on one side, and they're hoping that the market will move to the opposite side. That's what they're hoping for if they're trading against us. But all hope is lost for them by the time we take a trade. When we take a trade, we're going to win our trades, period. Because we're going to wait for the market to give us everything that we need in order to win the trade that we do take. Now, so Mark's rule, and let me see, somebody just wrote something a second ago. Diane said Mark's rule is a winning trade that meets all the parameters in a slow condition and ends in a move hold. We do not take this trade. She is 100% correct. And what she means by we do not take this trade is, instead of taking the trade, you watch the trade, because you need to see that actual protocol take place through and through. Everything that she just pointed out, where all the parameters are met, we're in slow condition, and the behavior at the end is move hold. All of that has to happen. But in order for you to know that it happened, you have to see it happen. In other words, you can't take a trade and expect that to happen, because it may not happen the way that you're expecting it to happen. It might do something else. It might have two parts of it in place. It might look like it's going to do it, and at the very end, it might decide to do something different. This is why we can't take that first trade. We have to watch that first trade to make sure that it will represent Mark's rule. Many trades will go by that come close. You'll see trades that set up like that. They validate it, the market is moving slow, but at the end of the binary, it jerks. If you were in that trade, it could have jerked against you, and you could have lost the trade. So because you haven't actually seen everything that we need to see take place, you don't have the evidence that you need yet to have the confidence that you need to ultimately take the following trade that sets up. You see, so this is what Mark's rule is allowing us to do. It's allowing us to have the confidence to take the next valid trade that sets up while the market is in that environment, and while the market is still demonstrating profitable behavior, which is the move and hold. Okay, so, and let me go back a little bit because I don't want to miss anything that you guys were asking about. So Ron is basically asking the same thing So when we're looking at the play-by-play, how many Marks rules are we looking for consecutively? When we're looking at the play-by-play, Marks rule, you only need one of them. And what I'm saying is actually the answer to the question that you wanted to ask, because what you're asking more so is about move hold, because you don't need to see back-to-back Marks rules. Remember that Marks rule is everything actually happening, not just one or two things of the three that are happening. So in other words, if you're looking on the chart and you're watching the behavior through the play-by-play, but the market's too fast, if you see three consecutive moving holds, but there's too much speed in the market, do you have a Marks rule on the chart? And y'all can answer that, yes or no. If you got too much speed, but you got move and hold behavior, is there a Marks rule? The answer is no. So let's say that you have three consecutive move holds, and then the market slows down. And when the market slows down, now you don't have any trade actually validate, but you got move holds that you have on the chart, and the market is slow, but you haven't had a valid trade set up. Is there a Marks rule? No. You see? So you need all three. Once the environment is present, meaning that we're moving slow, and then once we actually have the behavior that we're looking for, we would love to see that in advance. That's what the play-by-play is showing us. But just because you're seeing move and hold, it doesn't mean that the trade that validates when the condition is slow will end in move and hold. It could end another way. That's why you can't take that one. You have to watch that one. So in other words, once a valid trade sets up, when the market is moving slow, now it has to end with move and hold. If it doesn't, that's not Marks rule. Bingo. The package has to be complete. It's all or it's nothing. So this is why Marks rule is so powerful, because once you see Marks rule, you now know that the market did everything, meaning that the stability is present in the market. It's in sync because it did it. And of course, you're in the right environment. You have every piece to the puzzle that you need. Now, the likelihood of the market following through with another setup is so high that if that next trade, or even the 3, 4, 5, maybe 6 trades, not even trades, but binaries afterwards, and this is actually getting into what Diane was asking about. And also Jay Carley had pointed this out to me earlier today as well. And you guys are all on the same page because you're all asking the same thing, which is what we're going to train on tonight. It's like, well, how long does the Marks rule last? In other words, if you have a Marks rule on the chart, how long should you wait and basically anticipate a trade to set up as far as validating, right? And then be ready to take that trade when it validates. How long is that supposed to go on for? Because earlier today, I think that the Marks rule that came was what, 9:10? It was 9:10 this morning? Okay. By the time I think I took a trade, was it 10 something or 11 something when I took that trade? It was like 11 something, right? Or was it 10 something? It was 11 something? Okay. Matter of fact, yeah, I see it now. It was 11:20. Oh, excuse me. So 11:20 is 2 hours later, right? So I know that you're wondering, like, well, did that Marks rule last for that long? The answer was yes. What did I do, though, to know, okay, for me to take the trade when I saw it? This is what we're going to talk about now. Once you have Marks rule on the chart, you have to know that one of two things is going to likely take place afterwards. Either a trade is going to come quickly or it's not going to come quickly, and things will change and shift in the market. Either the behavior will shift up or the speed will shift. Usually it's the speed cycle that shifts. You'll see the market speed up, right? And if it speeds up, you're still running the play-by-play, so you're still observing the behavior at the same time. And the reason that you want to do that is just to make sure that the stability is still present in the market. Because if the market speeds up and then it slows down and you're still looking at the actual behavior during that speed up and back when it's slowing back down again, and you're seeing that the behavior is still pretty much present. In other words, you're still seeing moving holds. You know, they might be moving hold for the most part. You're not seeing a lot of jerks. I think that that's probably the easiest way for you to recognize whether or not behavior goes out. If you're running the play-by-play and you start seeing a lot of jerking, you need to reset everything. If you don't see a lot of jerking, like you might see one or two, but the rest of them are moving and holding, and all you're waiting for is for the speed cycle to go back from fast to slow. If you're seeing more of that, let the speed go out and come back in. In other words, let it speed up and then let it slow back down again. And once it does that, anticipate and prepare for your trade to set up. When it slows back down, when your parameters validate, remember that you're watching behavior still. You're not seeing a lot of jerkiness. If you are seeing a lot of jerkiness, just get another Marx rule. Wait for another one to come. Because if you're seeing jerkiness, it means that the behavior shifted and now it's out of sync. And if it's out of sync, the stability has gone out, regardless of whether the speed went out or not. Because the speed going out and coming back in is cool. You know that when the market slows down, it ain't going to stay slow forever. You know when it speed up, it ain't going to stay sped up forever. But the behavior acting funny can last for a long time. That's why if you're seeing jerkiness, you know to stay out, period. Just like if you're watching behavior and you're seeing a lot of jerkiness, you know ain't no Marx rule coming no time soon, because you just keep seeing jerkiness. As you begin to see the stability come in, you begin to see less jerkiness. So the less of the jerk that you see means that there's more stability being presented. And as the stability increases, now that just has to sync up with speed. And when they sync up together and then the trade validates, that's going to be Marx rule. So anytime you're not sure whether or not the amount of time that is going by, is okay, if you don't feel certain about it or you don't feel comfortable, just wait for another Marx rule. If you're looking and you feel like, it's a little just too jerky for you, wait for another Marx rule. That's the easiest way to do it. Don't try to force another trade to come just because you got a Marx rule. That's the one thing that we never want to do. We don't want to force another trade to come because you can't. You cannot. The trade might come, might not. If it don't come, you're running the play-by-play, so you're seeing why it won't come. Primarily through the behavior and the speed. The market sped up. Well, that's one of the reasons why it ain't validated yet. If the market sped up and then it started to slow back down again, and during that period, you didn't see a lot of jerkiness presented, wait for your trade. Market may, and the chances of it doing so are much higher now because all that happened was the speed cycle went out and came back in. That's what happened with me today. It was 2 hours later. When you know, from what I saw during my time observing, there was not a lot of jerkiness. There was some here and there, but overall, the market was stable. What do I mean? There were more move holes than anything else. So you kind of see what I'm getting at? Don't try to curve fit. And y'all know that I talk about this all the time. Curve fitting is like, all right, well, I'm gonna let 8 binaries go by, and if a trade comes at 8 binaries, then you good. Nah, you got to interpret the market. Period. And this is how you're gonna do it. You're gonna observe exactly the way that I'm explaining this to you. Every time that you see more jerkiness than move whole, you know you need to wait for another Marx rule. Period. If you get a Marx rule and you're not seeing a lot of jerkiness, that means that stability is still present. If stability is still present, you know the speed is going to go out and come back in. Let the speed go out. Let it speed up. Let it slow back down. When it slows back down, apply the parameters. Don't deviate from the parameters just because it slowed back down. Apply the parameters again. And apply them forcefully. In other words, the market needs to set up and give you that money. Don't let it look, a little funny and you trying to wave it back and forth. Oh, well, it looked pretty good. No, we don't want pretty good. Did it set up or not? It set up, take it. It didn't set up, don't take it. Oh, we're getting priced out. Don't take it. This is the discipline that you're being trained to apply. Just leave it alone. Don't play around with the market. And playing around with the market means trying to force something to happen if the market is not doing it. We're never going to do that. We're never going to do that. And I know that, just to put it in perspective for you guys, I understand that when I took that trade, mentally you're wondering, well, hold up. He took a trade, it's 2 hours later, so did he get a new Marx rule or is it the same one from before? I know that that's what your thought was, and this is why I'm breaking it down like this, because during that whole time, if you were observing, you would have seen that there was stability still present in the market overall. I'm not talking about a perfect world, like everything was move whole, but out of all of the binaries that passed, how many of them were jerked? Just relatively. Did you see 2? Or did you see 5? You see what I'm saying? If you saw 2 or 3 that were jerky, and the rest of them were move whole, and it was like 10 of them, and as you're getting closer to the slow down again, the behavior is move whole. As you're getting closer to the slowdown, isn't that progression? Aren't you getting closer to it instead of further away from it? You see, like, you understand what I'm saying? So every time that you're on the chart, you're doing this. And every time that you are waiting for something, you know specifically what it is. If it's behavior, you wait for another Marx rule because it means that there's just too much jerkiness on the chart. Sometimes the speed will create jerkiness. It will create instability. Not all the time, though. Not all the time. And you know what the difference is. You know the difference between how it looks. You'll know exactly what it looks like. And if you see that, then you know to reset everything. If you don't see that, and you just saw it speed up and then now it's starting to slow back down, you literally can see when it starts to slow down because you'll say it. Oh, the market's slowing down again. All right, now that we know the market's slowing down again, and we know that we had a Marx rule on the chart, what was the stability like? Is the market stable overall? What does your play-by-play look like? Are you seeing progression, or is it starting to jerk more? What is it? You see, and any one of you can tell what it is. That's why this is going to be so powerful for us, because Anytime that we're on the chart, especially if we're on the charts together, we're literally talking through it together. So it helps everyone that's looking to see it. Anyone that's on the chart, when we on the chart like that, you're going to see it. You may not understand it right away, but you'll see it. And then it'll start clicking. It's like, oh, that's what they mean. Okay. And that's interesting what Jay Carly just said. Sometimes the speed will shake out the bad behavior. She's right. See, it's so funny because stuff that, you know, like different terminology that used to be used, like structure. People were getting confused behind structure. All it is when you have move and hold. That's all it is. Sometimes it's fast and sometimes it's slow. So it's not enough just to have one element of it. That's why the whole process had to continuously be broken down. And it still is continuously broken down. Like, it's never going to stop. This is going to be ongoing forever. We're just getting better at it. But the market is just doing whatever the hell it wants to do all the time. That's what people don't understand. Like, oh, well, is the market doing? No, the market does what it wants. The question is, are you interpreting what the market is doing properly? Most of the time, people are not. That's why they're going to lose. We're going to interpret it right. That's why we're not going to lose, because we ain't going to trade unless the market gives us money. Literally. We ain't doing nothing until the market gives it to us. Matt said, you only pay attention to jerk on the last candle of the binary? Yes. When you say you ignore jerk on the first 4 candles, I'm going to say yes, because the only one that's relevant is the last minute of the binary. So I don't want you doing too much. If you start looking at all of them and you're trying to, create a crystal ball where you're like, oh, well, I knew that it was going to do this, and, because I saw that it wasn't jerking as much during, the first 2 or 3 minutes of the nah, we don't have to do all of that. We don't have to do that. I'm not saying that, you are limited to the last minute of the binary, but just don't create extra work for yourself. That's especially going to, anything that's going to confuse you. So yeah, you really only need to pay attention to the last minute of the binary, for real. It's almost like, it's like having a code. It's like you can either have the code and get to the end of the game. Remember when you used to get the code of Super Mario Brothers to get to the last level? Now you can go through every level, right? Or if you got the code, you just go straight to level 10 and fight that stupid dinosaur on the bridge and just keep fighting them until you beat them. Or you got to keep going, starting from the beginning each time. Yes, don't make it harder than it needs to be. That's it. That's what we do. That's what we do. And, and it's so funny because people, you know what it is? And I understand that this is just the nature of us as human beings. This is just something that we do. Anytime we feel like something is complicated, we complicate it more. Ain't that crazy? Yo, Yellow's mad old. He said King Cooper. You remember the name. Yes, it was King Cooper. But yeah, I mean, all jokes aside, the fact that it is so easy, your mind almost refuses to accept the simplicity of it, and you'll do extra stuff to make it complicated. It's like that's just something that we do as human beings for some reason. Oh no, it can't be that easy, but it is that easy. No, it got to be something else to it. No, that's it. The something else to it that you're talking about is just you being patient. That's the something else to it that most people would miss out. They'll miss that part. Now, it got to be more to it. It is more to it. You have to do it. Yes, that's exactly what it is. Yep. Yes, sir. But is that did that shed light for Diane, J. Carly, and anyone else that was inquiring about Mark's rule? J. Carly's good. Diane is good. Very good. Very good. It was a damn good explanation, I must say. I will be listening back to the training, for sure. But any of you, if you have questions about anything like parameters or, you know, any part of the process that we use, anything as far as the protocol, whatever you feel you don't understand fully, you can definitely inquire and ask. Yes, and I'm sure that we will talk about it again tomorrow. Absolutely. Yes, I'm glad. I'm glad, Diane. I'm glad. I know some people, when they explain something, you just be like, yo, forget it. Never mind. Like, never mind. But no, I mean, I like that though. I like when you do that because the clarity comes from the confusion for me. I just think in terms of, you know, it's just like how I even arrived at what I ended up doing as far as trading profitably. I arrived at it because I was totally confused at first. Totally. I just was like, damn, man, you can't win with this. You know, in the beginning, I used to be like, nobody's winning doing this. Like, nobody's winning this. Then I had to stop. I'm like, wait, no. Somebody's winning. Somebody's winning. What are they doing? Yeah, exactly. Uncharted territory. Exactly. It's like being in the abyss. You don't know what nothing is. You just there. Yep. Endless number of trainings. Yes. Now it's just, yep, move whole. And then we took Mark's rule to the next level. Man. Yeah, it's crazy. It just reverse engineering the training from the beginning, like from the first one, is insanity alone. For real. And that's right, Damon. There's two sides to every trade. And really, just to keep it simple like that, it's like, all right, well, there's two sides to every trade, but There's something that's deciding the trade. Whatever that something is, that's what we got to figure out. That's the part. That's the missing piece. Because otherwise, you might as well just take a coin, flip it, and whatever side you flip on, that's the side of the trade that you take, and you'll win 50% of your trades if you take enough of them. Right. Yeah, and I realized, I was like, nah, I don't want to trade like that. Shit, I'm gonna run out of money. Y'all crazy. Damon says this is true training, not some plug and play fly by night strategy. Exactly. That is a fact. That is a fact. Yeah, I mean, it really is remarkable because we're moving with the market all the time. Randy said, essentially, we must consider ourselves as prosecutor in the court. In order to win, we need to slowly and carefully build a case. And to build a successful case, we need evidence. Yes. Randy, that's hard right there. That's hard. Oh. Woo. Damon said, you have to evolve, like you said. The only thing I agree with Charles Darwin on. I concur. Yep, I concur. It's very interesting, too, because whatever doesn't evolve dies. Don't that sound like a strategy to you? Right? Thought you had it. Thought you had it all figured out. Then the market switch up. And it's like, oh, what happened? It was working. Mm-hmm. Yes, powder slap. Both hands. So let me see how y'all feel about the market environment currently. How do y'all feel about the behavior right now? How do y'all feel about the behavior currently? Joshua said consistent with most of the day out of alignment. Joel's slow condition. Yes, we are in a slow condition. And yes, throughout the day, that out of alignment that Joshua was talking about has to do a lot with the synchronization on Nadex, meaning the option pricing relative to the movement of the market. Many times, and yes, that's actually what I was waiting to hear. What Diane just said. There's more move and hold versus jerk, and what Joshua is pointing out is actually giving more understanding to why you have a slow condition and you have the move hold, but for whatever reason we're not getting validated setups during a good environment and with that behavior present. It's out of sync. And it's okay. Like, it's, the fact that it is out of sync, we can't do anything about it. We can't do anything about that. All we can do is know that that's what it is. And because we know that that's what it is, we don't do anything as far as trading. Damon said, I think Mark's rule took place, correct me if I'm wrong. When? Which one, Damon? Diane said, I don't understand out of sync. Out of sync just simply means you have 2 of 3 of our protocol. Oh, the last binary, Damon? Okay. This one? Before I even respond to that, tell me what the behavior is on this one. Why would this not be Mark's rule? Damon only. And Diane, I'm gonna get back to what you asked about. Why would this not be Mark's rule? Bingo. That's it. The end. It's jerky. It also reversed. You see that wick on the top? It was moving up first, then ended up moving down. So if you were looking at a trade, I'm assuming that it would have been for a long, and that long did not end up even winning. That price closed underneath the strike, so that would have lost. And also the fact that you had that reversal on it, that would have dismissed it anyway as being Mark's rule, even if it did win. So even if it did win, it would not have been Mark's rule. Make sense? What? Okay. And as a matter of fact, while we're on that subject, so Damon, what would this have had needed to do to be Mark's rule? Let's say that it did set up to go long, and it went long, right? What would it have needed to do at the end of the binary in order to be Mark's rule? We're assuming that it was a valid trade and during this slow market environment. What would you have needed to take place at the end of the binary in order for that to be Mark's rule? You see? Okay. That's good enough for me. Because I know that you understand. Because you know that in order for that to have been Mark's rule, it would have needed to stay up and hold where it moved to. Because you need to move whole at the end in order for that to be a valid Mark's rule. Because the move whole would be the evidence that the stability was there because it moved in position. It also validated in the first place, and it did so during a slow environment. So you had all 3 in that example. Diane, what was we talking about a little while ago? You had asked something. Yes, exactly. Exactly. But you actually wouldn't have lost because you wouldn't have taken it. Remember that for Mark's rule, you got to observe it first. You have to actually see it. So you're not taking a trade at all until you see Mark's rule. Like right now, we're waiting to see Mark's rule. We have not seen Mark's rule yet. Leticia said, was that last one move whole? Yes. This? Yeah, that was move whole for the most part. Diane said Mark's rule needs 5 micro pips away and a price of 17 or 83. Yes, those are 2 of the parameters. You also need slow speed, so you need 1 micropip of speed, and you definitely need favorable pricing on the option. As well. And what do you need it to do at the end? Bingo. There we go. There we go. So, Diane, just to elaborate on what you had asked about it being out of sync, when you hear us make reference to that, what we're saying is that we have some elements of the protocol. We'll have a slow environment. It's like right now, we got a slow environment, and we're seeing, you know, move hold for the most part. This one was the first jerk that we kind of saw, but this was move hold. This was a move hold. This one over here was a move hold. So you can see that the behavior is present that we would want to be in the market. There's stability. But what don't we have? We don't have pricing on the options. The option is not being validated by the market. So even though we got that, we got good behavior and the market is slow, trade ain't setting up. No trade has set up yet. And even if a trade does set up, it has to still give the move hold at the end to be Mark's rule. So again, the answer to every question is always Mark's rule. Period. That's what simplifies it. It's like, well, when are we in sync? When you have Mark's rule. Except for Dion. Okay, right, very good. So I think that you got it now, Diane. Oh, what? He said that today? Just now? Okay. I know he's not in here. I guarantee you he's not on training right now. He don't want that smoke. He don't want it. I know. He should know that you're going to tell. I'm going to get at him. He already know. Ron was asking something a minute ago. Oh, the reason for 17 and 83. Just through observation of pricing on Nadex. Observation over time of the pricing that you can utilize as a threshold. Those are not arbitrary numbers that I just came up with. That's the actual result of studying. Hours and hours and days and weeks of observing the way that these prices work in conjunction with the actual price of the market. In other words, when this price, the market price, is in position relative to the strike price, what are the prices of the option that you can utilize as a threshold to execute precise timing into the trade? That's what allowed me to enter trades with precision, utilizing the thresholds of 83 if I'm buying or 17 if I'm selling. Just through repeated study. That's where those numbers came from. The 5 micropips away from the strike, that came the same way. It's not arbitrary. I didn't just pick it out and say, oh, we're going to use 5. Nah. It came from what does the market actually do when you win? How does it look? How is the price behaving? How does the option price reflect? What is it actually doing relative to the way that the price is moving. How fast is the market moving when it's winning? Like this is all stuff that had to be observed. This is why studying the market is so crazy, because the market tells you everything about the way that you can win using the platform and using the instrument that you're trading. Just like we're using 5-minute binaries. You know, if I did the same thing with hourlies, I would figure that out too. If I did it with 20-minute binaries, I'd have done the same thing. I just don't want to do that. I'd rather use 5-minute binaries because I don't have to be in front of the chart locked in at different times. Think about it. 5 minutes go by every 5 minutes. 12 opportunities in an hour. So all I need to do is figure out what the market is doing and then utilize that information and apply it to these 5-minute binaries, and I get my trades, and I'm good. Yep. Yes, it is. It's very powerful, and it's very interesting that it ended up being 5-minute binaries because most people are scared of 5-minute binaries. Like literally scared to death to trade these. Oh my God, you can lose your money so fast. You can lose your money so fast, and you will if you don't understand the market. That's why you lose it, because you don't understand the market and you're not able to interpret it. Yeah. I did say that, right? That is hilarious. Oh my gosh. But it's true. I'm like, you know, it came out like that because just as I'm thinking about it, I'm like, yeah, 5 minutes go by every 5 minutes. Oh man. Classic, man. Classic. Right. See, now you're talking, Dan. Now we talking. Now we are talking. That's why, to me, it's better than everything else, like Forex, all of that. It's better. It's better. We are very fortunate to have access to these instruments. I'm so glad that Nadex really has provided this as an opportunity for us. You know, if you really are good at understanding the market, you'll make whatever money you want to make with these 5-minute binaries. For real. Like, for real. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Yep, and I mean, I've been there, man. I've definitely been there. You know, I'm trying to think of what stock it was that I had back in, I want to say like 2002. It's something that's like it ended up being an astronomical price today. Like it split maybe 20 times. I think at that time I had stock in what was it, Qualcomm? I had Qualcomm stock. I had some Apple stock. Man, I forgot some of the other ones that I had invested in early. I had early Facebook stock. And when I was done with the stock market, I just dumped everything and then moved on to Forex. You know, but when you're in the stock market, that's more of a long-term type of mentality that you have to have. And you really kind of want to just invest in stocks over time that are good stocks and good companies that are well positioned and have vision for the future. Like I remember when tech stocks, like when the tech bubble had first started, and Amazon had their stock, and how, you know, the prices was crazy on Amazon. They were like, well, you know, they have all of this market value, but they have no earnings. You know why they had no earnings? Because they were reinvesting their money back into the business and into what was going to generate income for them now. As you know, Amazon today, when they started, they were selling books. What don't they sell today? Like you understand, like the whole dynamic of it is different. It's totally different. So you got to be in a certain frame of mind to even deal with the stock market, because it's different. It's not like, Forex and derivatives and stocks, not stocks, options. It's not like that. It's just totally different. Oh, they did? Nice. Nice. Where they say they're gonna put it? The actual location. Matter of fact, I saw that. I saw that. I saw that. I know exactly what you're talking about, because they show where it is. Yep, they show where it is. Oh, that's the other stock I had. I had Google stock. I had Google stock. I had Intel stock. I had Microsoft stock. I had a nice little portfolio at the time, and I was very young at that time. Very young. Yep. But anywho, yeah, you don't gotta feel bad, Jay Carly. You messing around on what's that thing called? What's that thing that you use called? Not Romeo. What's the other thing? Robin Hood? Is that what it's called? Thank you. What did I say? Romeo? The hell is Romeo? But did you guys have any other questions? This right here looks like it might set up. You gonna watch this right here. Oh, it's already getting priced out. See, Diane, if you look at this, you see how you're already priced out? Like now we're under the minute mark, priced out. Still out of sync. It's getting there, but it's still out of sync. Ron, correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm almost summing up the parameters and Mark's rule, like shopping at Walmart. I need the price to be stable, not jumping around every 5 seconds, moving and irking and jerking. Correct. That is correct. And you also want, imagine being in the description that you just gave, you're shopping and you're not running down the aisle with the cart. You're walking, just taking your time, moving slow. That's the environment that you're in. You're in a slow moving environment. Instead of messing around with little kids, you know how little kids like to run with the cart and jump on the back. You're not around that. You're around other grown folks that are walking and taking their time and shopping and getting what they need, and are decisive. They're not confused about what they want to buy. They just are going down each aisle, putting everything in the cart one at a time. Not picking something up, then going back to the aisle. Oh, I don't know if I want it or not. That's jerkiness. Yes, very good. Very good analogy. Thank you, Joel. I miss that. That used to come on 10 o'clock on the dot every night. Every single night. You remember when TV used to go off? Remember they used to play the Star Spangled Banner? And then it would just go to static? Remember Channel U? Yo. Oh man. I know I am old, man. I can't lie. I remember the rabbit ears, and we used to put aluminum foil on the rabbit ears to try to get better reception on the TV. We didn't know if it worked or not, but it just seemed like it did. I know Dan is old because he said tin foil. Woo, that is funny. Y'all is something else, man. It's always a pleasure to be on with you guys. You make the training very, very enjoyable. Yeah, the rabbit is. Oh man. Oh wow. Scorpio, right? Happy belated birthday, sir. 53 years young. Nice. Oh, please. That's a good question. That's a good question. What Jay Carly just asked. We're going to do a video on that right there. I believe the answer is nobody. We was in here today, discussed it because we ran out of paper towels. You ever go to the store just for paper towels, and when you leave, you don't have the paper towels, but you got a bunch of other stuff? You ever go in the store for something and don't come out with it at all? You're like, yo, what did I come in here for? Wow, nobody beats the Wiz. Damn, you're going all the way back. Sheesh. Matthew said he goes to the store on a mission. I used to. You know what? I used to do that before I was married. After I got married, nope. Nope. Only time I do that is when I go to Starbucks. Yeah, I do remember that. And yes, you were proud. And I was proud of you. She was like, I actually got what I came in the store for. Yes. There you go. Well, that explains everything right there, Matthew. He said he don't go to the store with his wife. I try, but it's damn near impossible. Damn near impossible. If I ever do that, I get yelled at because, you know, I spent too much money. I didn't find the sales. Or I don't like that supermarket. Why do you go there? Yeah, we go to the supermarket. That's like all morning. We'll go early. By the time we get back in the house, it's like 12 o'clock. Like, we came to the supermarket. We just dropped the kids off. It was 9. We're in the supermarket eating lunch. Why? Why? Yeah, I love it, though. I wouldn't have it any other way. It's a beautiful thing. That's it. Trader's lifestyle. Yeah, Jay, we're going to do that. We're going to do that. I like that. All right, traders. So we are at 10:06 p.m. Did anyone have any other questions that they wanted to ask or anything that we wanted to go over before we get our training tonight? Yeah, I know. The training did fly by. No, you can drink that juice. Go ahead. It's not cold, though. All right, you can have some. Yeah, the training always fly by when we be having fun. For real. New folks. Okay, I'll make sure I get that to you, Ron. Jay, did you put that in the group chat earlier? Twice. Ron, look inside the group chat, and you should see the spreadsheets in there. Jay Carly already shared them in there. I think earlier when you had asked, she had put them in there. Take a look in there. You should see them. New people, videos number 92 and number 55. Make sure that you definitely watch those two videos to start off with. There are other videos after that you're going to want to watch as well. Number 175, 193, 202, etc. As listed. Make sure that you stay connected in the group chat. That's where everything really takes place all day throughout the day. You have a question that you need answers to. You want to participate in the play-by-play, whether you want to do it yourself or just watch others do it. Group chat is where it's at. Make sure that you stay connected in there. Tonight's training will be available in the next 40 minutes or so. And we will be back on live training mañana. Same time, same place. All right? So everybody have a great night. Let your soul glow. Yo, y'all watch way too much TV. Jesus. All right, everybody. Have a great night. Love, peace, and soul. See y'all tomorrow. Check you out in the group chat shortly. Deuces.